समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So coming to the 8th verse today, I'll read the verse first. It says, शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वेतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात्. The question before this verse is, when does the infinite draw these faculties around it? So see, we were discussing birth, and how does birth take place, and uh, how does the jeev choose the qualities and the situations where it will play out its desires, right? So here it is now the thing, when the Lord obtains a body. I'm reading the translation. When the Lord over here doesn't mean Ishvara, it means over here the individuality, the Lord of the mind and body. He is talking about that. Huh? So the Lord obtains a body, and the mind and intellect obtains a body. ऐसे translate करो तुम. The Lord obtains a body, and when he leaves it, he takes these and goes with them as the wind takes the scents from their seats, the flowers. Now, when he says he takes these and goes with them, now you see these and them, they are both not definitive nouns, right? So you wonder, okay, what does he mean by these and what does he mean by them? So the verse is like that, and so the translation is also the same. It does not specify. Now it is like this, that gross sense organs cannot be taken away at the time of death. The gross body तो वहीं पड़ी रहती है ना, we all know. So the five senses, the organs of action, the organs of perception, they all stay here. So what is it that leaves the body when the body? See, the Lord over here means the individuality, the mind and intellect, जिसको आप जीव कहते हैं. Okay, so this is the Lord. And किस चीज के Lord? The Lord of the body. Isn't your mind and intellect the king of your system? Whatever the mind and intellect say to the body does that. If your mind tells the hand to lift the hand will lift itself. When the mind is dead, supposing under anesthesia, the mind is numb, can you lift your hand? No. No matter who tells you to lift your hand, you cannot. So unless the mind tells, the mind is the king. For all your actions, the mind and intellect is the king, and the body behaves according to the dictates of the mind and intellect. That is why we always say that guard your mind and intellect, have a purity in the mind and intellect, because if your mind and intellect is impure, your actions will be impure. Okay. So here the Lord means the individuality, the Jiva Bhav that you have, that me and mine, obtains a body. Okay. This we have done in the previous verses, that they choose the body. The जीव chooses the body कि ये body मुझे suit करेगी for what I want to do in the life, in my life. This situation will suit me, so he chooses a home. And वो अपनी choice से आता है वहां पर. So obtains the body, and when he leaves means at the time of death. Who leaves? The mind and intellect leave. The mind and intellect are subtle body, so they leave the gross body at the time of death. they separate. So at the time when he leaves, he takes these यानी क्या, not the sense organs, he takes the sense faculties. Please, there is a difference. ठीक है? Sense faculty is not the organs that the mind and intellect takes. And how does it take? Because देखो, thoughts are also subtle. Mind और intellect क्या है? They are only thoughts, ना? So your thoughts, your desires, these are the subtle body. Vasanas, desires are vasanas. So vasanas के according thoughts होते हैं. So this is called the subtle body. So the subtle body leaves the gross body. So all Gurudev used to say, the undigested desires, the undigested vasanas are taken to a new body so that they may express themselves, that they may be able to fulfill themselves, that they may be able to experience what they feel like experiencing, what they want to experience. So all those. So, and how does it take? And goes with them as the wind takes the scents from the seat of flowers. Now, देखो, wind क्या है? Wind is everywhere. ठीक है? Wind is everywhere, but the wind has no fragrance of its own. The wind or the breeze has no air, has no fragrance of its own. But this subtle body is like a fragrance. He's giving a simile. Okay, just like the wind takes fragrance. See, supposing wind is passing over roses, you know, fragrant roses. So it takes the smell of those roses. Huh? You cannot see it with your eyes. You cannot touch it with your hands. But subtle air takes subtle essences along with it, and the air, then you say the air is fragrant. ठीक है ना? तो यहाँ पे क्या है? The subtle body, when it moves, the mind and intellect, when it leaves the gross body, it takes with it the essences or the fragrances of the desires, of the vasanas. So the same thought, आप जिंदगी भर जो करते आए हैं ना, whatever have been your thought patterns, whatever have been your actions, they become firm in your subtle body. And your subtle body comprises of those only unfulfilled desires, the thoughts that go to you, your hatreds, your likes, your dislikes, all those, your skills, huh? What you would like to do in life, all those are the subtle body. And those thoughts move along almost like the fragrance that moves with air to another part, somewhere else. Huh? तो जो ग्रोस फॉर्म है वो वहीं रह जाता है. द मेयर फ्रेग्रेंस, दैट इज योर थॉट्स ऑफ द फ्रेग्रेंस ऑफ द इंडिविजुअलिटी कह लीजिए. सी, इंडिविजुअलिटी क्या है? सोच के देखो. इंडिविजुअलिटी इज व्हाट योर थॉट्स आर. योर पर्सनैलिटी इज डिटर्मिन्ड बाय योर थॉट्स. So that is taken, the faculties are drawn by the mind and intellect, your faculties, your tendencies, and they move to another body. So ये सारे जो expressions हैं आपके body, mind and intellect के, physical, mental, intellectual. So physical stay here, the mental and the intellectual move from there. That is called the subtle body. अच्छा, और minus the subtle body, your whole body is called a dead body. Minus the subtle body, the body is called a dead body. Okay. So now then let me explain this, that what exactly is the subtle body. देखो, the text is asking you to refer to Atmabodh. Now, some of you may have studied Atmabodh of Shankara, some of you may not have studied. That is a initial primary textbook, Atmabodh and Tattvabodh of Vedanta. Now, Atmabodh very categorically lists the subtle body, and it lists 17 different parts of the subtle body. The 17 parts are, you can take down if you like, if you don't have a text with you. 10 are the sense faculties. That means 5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya. Karmendriya, your hands and legs, and what you do, your genital organs, your excretory organs, and all that. Ye sab are those organs that perform actions are called Karmendriya. And those organs that are on your face, the 5 indriya on your face, that are called Gyanendriya. Okay, so that makes them 10. So 10 to ye ho gaye. Then 5 are pranas. 5 are the pranas. Now what do you say? A prana is not just breath. The air that you take in and the systems in your body, which your biology calls system, excretory system, hmm, respiratory system, digestive system, all these are systems in your body. 5 hain. So they are called panch pranas. According to our Vedanta has called them panch pranas. And they are the ones that have all the involuntary actions. Now you will say, see, your Vedanta calls them actions, but in science and medical science calls them involuntary action. Now just tell me, how unintelligent is this phrase? Think about it. Action cannot be involuntary. No, according to science, no action can take place without a force behind it. Law hai na ye? It's a scientific law that no action can take place without a force behind it. They do not recognize the force behind it. They just call it involuntary action. That means अपने आप होता है. अपने आप कुछ नहीं होता. Nothing can happen on its own. Even when the wind blows, there has to be a force built up behind it for it to move, for the air to move, right? So here जो आपके actions involuntary होते हैं, they are the functions of the life force in your body. They are things like sneezing, okay, क्या है, you know, capacities that your body has to do things, and it is like like coughing, sneezing, all these, you whether you want to do, you do not. Excretory system, these are things that happen on their own. Digestion, respiration, breathing, ये सारे के सारे आते हैं. They are called involuntary actions. They happen on their own. Even when you are under anesthesia, your body is breathing. Even when you are in deep sleep, your body is working all the time. Your heart is pumping all the time. It's called involuntary action. You are not pumping your heart. You are not pumping your veins. Huh? But if you place, even for a person who is lying unconscious, if you place your hand on any of the beats, whether it is here or it is here or it is on the wrist, the pulse is beating. So the human being is not making these actions take place. They happen on their own. आप छींक रोकने की कोशिश करते हैं, नहीं होती ना. हिकअप रोकने की कोशिश करते हैं, नहीं होता ना. So all those are involuntary actions. So the prana in your body is the one that causes life force to act involuntarily. अच्छा, तो ये हो गए 10 and 5. Now the two more that are left, ये तो 15 हो गए ना. So another two to make it 17, that is the mind and intellect. So these 17 things comprise the subtle body. You will say कि senses तो gross हैं. हाँ, senses also organs of action भी gross हैं. So how do they come under subtle body? It is not them, but their functions, their capabilities, which come under subtle body. That the eyes can see, the ear can hear, that comes under subtle body. Not this ear, not this fleshy eye, that's not subtle body. ये gross है. The nose is gross. I hope I'm clear. and that you have understood what I'm saying. दो अलग अलग चीजें हैं. One is the sense organs, and one is their faculties, their capabilities, the action that they do. ठीक है ना? So the action that they do is caused by the subtle body. So they come under subtle body. But to make it very simple, Gurudev used to say, just think of the subtle body as mind and intellect. Because without the mind and intellect, none of these things can move. There. Huh? So this is the subtle body. Please understand. So subtle body is the Ishvara. यहाँ पे जो लिखा है ना, यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वर. Ishvara is the boss of the body, the ruler of the body, the king of the body, and that is the mind and intellect. You can even call it the fragrance of individuality, jiva bhava, because everybody's mind and intellect is different. So that is what forms the personality of the individual. ठीक है? हाँ. Now this is this thing, the body goes from one home to another home. Gurudev used to say that mind and intellect जो है, उसके जो thoughts हैं, they are like a baggage that is packed and sent to a new home when you move. When you move from an old house to a new house, don't you pack all your baggage that you need? You throw away what you don't need. You throw away the old house and you pack all your things, and those things are sent before you to the new house. So that when you go, you can slowly, slowly unpack them and make yourself comfortable in the new place. Similarly, the mind and intellect, with all their thoughts, desires, faculties, thinking patterns, skills, vasanas, it moves as a package to your new body, where it unfolds itself again to the. Now this is given in यहाँ पे लिखा है उपनिषदिक declaration. ऐत्रेय उपनिषद में है ये, नीचे notes में आपके. So Aitreya Upanishad already has talked about this. Okay. Now the last note on this is this subtle body over here is described as 6. देखो, some people keep arguing on this technical thing. कि subtle body is 17 or subtle body is 6 or subtle body is just mind and intellect. वो करते रहते हैं. Please don't get into this and don't confuse yourself, please, with this thing. Okay? The main thing over here is subtle body को आप सोच लीजिए कि mind and intellect. That's all. आप उतना ही मान लो subtle body को, हाँ? And just stay with that. Now here, देखो, subtle body again is described as 6 different things. The subtle body described in the previous stanzas roughly as the 5 senses and the mind as the 6th is being more clearly explained in the following verse. Now we do the verse. Shotram chakshusprshanam cha rasanam ghranam cha adhishthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. This verse is a little easier for us. Presiding over the ear, the eye, the touch, the taste and the smell, and also the mind. तो ये 5 faculties इंद्रियों के प्लस द माइंड, तो 6 हो गए ना आपके. They become 6. So presiding over the ear, eye, touch, taste and smell, and also the mind, he enjoys the sense objects. He is what? He means the jeev. Jeev. Again, there is a pronoun. Okay? He means a pronoun. So he over here means the jiva bhav, the individuality. वो इन सब चीजों के साथ में ही enjoy कर सकता है. Do you think any experience can take place without these? The 5 sense organs, their faculties, and the mind, 6. इनके बिना there is no experience possible. Cannot be. If the mind is dead, even if you cut up the individual, he feels nothing because the mind is dead. So, unless you have all these six, no experience is possible. And Gurudev used to say that in the rulership of the mind, in the chairmanship of the mind, all this action takes place. Huh? And even in a new body, the individual is able to harvest the kind of experiences he wants to live by. ठीक है ना. So those are the ones. तो ये देखो आत्मबोध में it is called भोग आयतनम, the body mind intellect equipment. ये मतलब ये जो है ना, ये six, these six are called भोग आयतनम. भोग आयतनम means the house of experiences, भोग करने की जगह, भोग आयतनम इज इट इज कॉल्ड इन. हाँ, तो ये जो है आपका आत्मबोध से है ये टर्म भोग. इट इज टू वर्ड्स, भोग एंड आयतनम. सो भोग आयतनम इज अ संधि. ओके. नाउ one thing you must understand, that the light of consciousness illumines the mind, intellect, as well as the faculties. Without the power of the light of consciousness, even these do not function. These do not function. बट एक बात और समझो, जैसे लोग कहते रहते हैं ना, भगवान ने हमारे साथ कितना बुरा किया, भगवान ने, द लॉर्ड डज नथिंग, ही डज नथिंग, and yet without him things can't be done. I've explained this to you many times in the previous chapters. I've explained this subtle point to you many times, that the light of consciousness by its mere presence causes action, but it does not act. Example, the sun. The sun does not do anything. Carefully, the sun does not illumine, but in its very presence, things get illumined. You see the difference? सूरज कुछ कर नहीं रहा है. It's not an actor. It doesn't act. But by its very presence, things lighten up. By its very presence, plants are fed, trees grow, human beings function. Because without sunlight, the whole planet will be dead. It will be a dead planet. But the sun is not giving life. By its mere presence, things happen. You get my point? Similarly, the light of consciousness, by its very presence, just by its very presence, energizes all this equipment of the subtle body, and through the subtle body, the gross body. Huh? It's very simple. Just try to understand it. It's very simple. कुछ है नहीं इसमें. Another thing, please understand. You know, the beam of consciousness, when you consciously direct it towards any one thing that you are doing, वो वहीं होगी. बाकी के senses, have you noticed, the other senses cannot even function without your mental attention. Mental attention is the beam of consciousness. Giving you an example that Gurudev has also given. If you are trying to concentrate on something carefully, supposing you are reading a book, ठीक है? So the beam of consciousness and attention is directed to your eyes and the page that you are reading. उस वक़्त, if somebody says something to you, you do not hear because your whole attention is on the book. If somebody passes in front of you, your eyes are open, but you do not see. होता या नहीं होता? Many times you wonder, oh, when did you pass from here? I never saw. But how you didn't see? Because your beam of consciousness was directed elsewhere. Your attention was elsewhere. Even if you're not doing anything, you are just sitting and thinking. Your mind has taken all your faculties to the place that you are thinking about. So whatever else is happening around you, you don't notice. So this beam of consciousness is that powerful, and the wherever you direct it, you only see and hear that. You do not see and hear anything else. Huh? Acha, but now the question that arises for the next verse, the question is that we are day and night living with this ray of consciousness. This awareness is all the time with us, है ना? गुरुदेव तो ये कहते थे कि the Lord is all the time with you, and yet you do not see. Yet you do not see. So he used to say, look what says, how is it that we, I'm reading the question, how is it that we who are living through vivid and real experiences at every moment of our existence fail to recognize this divine perfection? लोग कहते हैं ना कि अगर है कोई शक्ति तो हमको क्यों नहीं दिखती, हमको क्यों नहीं फील होती, how come we don't see it? That is the question people go on asking. And that is why they say, if you haven't seen God, there is no God. You may not have seen God, but you can feel God. Put your hand on your chest. Your heart beating is the Lord beating it, not you. Not you at all. है ना? So ये हाँ. So the देखो, here this verse says अधिष्ठाय मनुष्याय विषयानुपसेवते. अब ये जो next verse है, the verse 10 is saying to you that the self is visible only to the eye of knowledge. Everybody cannot see the self. So what is this eye of knowledge? Let us see. उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढा नानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः. The word used in this verse is vimud. One is mood. Mood means stupid. And vimud, Gurudev used to say, is the one who has done doctorate in stupidity. Somebody who has done a research and doctorate in stupidity is called vimudha. So vimud jo hai, he nanupashyanti. He does not see. Even with open eyes and working faculties, he is not able to see. And who sees? Pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. So only that person whose jnana chakshu is open sees. अच्छा, अभी अब ज्ञान चक्षु होता क्या है? व्हाट इज ज्ञान चक्षु? देखो, इन कैलेंडर आर्ट दे ड्रॉ थर्ड आई. यहाँ पे शिव जी की देखिए, तीसरी आंख खोली शिव जी ने. Now, nobody has a third eye over here on the forehead. Have you ever seen anything? It's a biological monstrosity. You cannot see it. होती नहीं है. तो फिर ज्ञान चक्षु क्या होता है? देखो, ध्यान से समझो. ज्ञान चक्षु, the eye of knowledge. Now see, Gurudev explains it this way. Somebody who has the knowledge of classical music and classical dance can appreciate the classical dance much better than you and I, because he can understand the subtleties that are being depicted in the classical dance. He can understand the subtle play of the notes in classical music because he has knowledge of that. Whereas to you and me, even वो बेसुरा भी गा रहे हैं तो हमको चलता है, because we don't know. So we don't have the eye of knowledge. Got it? Yeah. So like that. Gurudev gives the example of a jeweler. A jeweler, if you show him some stone, he is able to evaluate the real price of that stone, the real value of that stone. For another person, it is nothing. I read in the Reader's Digest, this story was given that there was this ship and there was a sailor working on the deck of the ship. Now, you know, the deck of the ship becomes slimy because the water keeps rolling over it like that, like that. और वो लकड़ी होती है, तो लकड़ी गलती है, so it becomes slimy. So you have to clean the deck with a stone, you have to scrub it with a brush and a stone, and then wash it. and then dry it. Then the deck becomes clean. Okay. So there was this sailor who used to every day with a big stone, he used to every day scrub the whole deck. Now on that ship, once there was a jeweler traveling, and he happened to see that, and he realized that this is a sapphire in rough form, not polished and cut and all that, but in a rough form. This is a huge sapphire, and this man is using it as a scrub stone. So he gave it to him as a, he offered a very big price to him. Ki main, I'll give you another stone, you give me the stone. Now the sailor did not know the value of that stone. The jeweler with his ज्ञान चक्षु, है ना, उसको knowledge थी stone की, so he could evaluate that stone. He took that stone. The deck cleaner was very happy that he got a great price and a stone also in return. This one was very happy because he could sell that sapphire, even if he could cut it into many other sapphires, but he could sell those pieces for a huge, huge price. So he became a multi millionaire with just that big sapphire. Think about it. Huh? So this is called the eye of knowledge. Whether it is music or it is dance or it is a jeweler or it is a scientist or it is a businessman, जिसको ज्ञान है वो जान ही वो पश्यन्ति, हाँ, ज्ञान चक्षु. So vimudha nanu pashyanti. Those who are ignorant, those who are fools, those who are stupid. You know, Gurudev used to say, not ordinary fool. He is not an ordinary fool. He used to say, but super fools are not able to see it, even though it is very, very obvious. How is it obvious? Can a dead body talk? Can a dead body see? Huh? Can a dead body hear? So, isn't it something else? Doesn't it make you think that it is something else that is giving you the power, giving the body the power? So, what is that something else when you go to find out? At least understand this much, that there is some other power that is making your heart beat. You are not making it beat. It's not a voluntary action. Breathing, somebody else is seeing to it that air goes into your lungs and energizes your whole body and energizes the systems in your body, isn't it? तो इतना तो सोचो. So here it is only somebody who's crazy mad, Gurudev's words, somebody who's crazy mad stupid and not an ordinary fool is not able to see it, but somebody who has the knowledge that my body is working because of some superpower. He, that is called a jnana chakshu. That is called a jnana chakshu. And once you begin to have a jnana chakshu your through your scriptures, you study and you gain knowledge and you rise in spirituality, then slowly, slowly your mind starts gaining ज्ञान. एक बार आपको ज्ञान हो जाता है, your ज्ञान चक्षु is slowly, slowly opening. It doesn't open all of a sudden, please. You have to undergo all kind of spiritual disciplines, and you have to have regularity in your spiritual sadhana. Only then your discriminative ज्ञान चक्षुष open. किसी के कम, किसी के ज्यादा खुले हुए होते हैं, and those who have a lot of discriminatory knowledge, उनके पूरे ज्ञान चक्षु खुले हुए होते हैं, and they are the ones who can clearly see the Lord functioning through you, through your body. They can clearly see. So the देखो ऐसा है, Gurudev gave this example that there were two friends, and one friend said that I want to go to the church. The other friend said that no, I want to go to the prostitute he used to visit. Okay. Now, the one who went to the prostitute, उसको तो वो जो जाता था prostitute के पास, उसका तो माइंड प्योरीफाई हो गया, and he gained a ज्ञान चक्षु. The person who used to go to the church, उसका माइंड impure हो गया. How did that happen? Gurudev used to say that the one sitting in the church was constantly thinking of the one who used to go to the prostitute, and his mind was always there that, oh, he must be enjoying himself, that prostitute must be showing him so much of love and affection, prostitute must be pampering him, and look at me, I am sitting here kneeling, even my knees have got bruised, kneel kar karke, and all that. That man who was at the prostitutes was constantly thinking of this friend who has gone to the church. And he used to think that I should go to the church. I should not be here. This is the wrong thing I'm doing. I should pray to the Lord. And I, even from here, I can pray to the Lord. Let me imagine myself in the church if it any. But my vasanas compel me to come here, but still my mind is and heart is only in the church. Now, so his mind got purified, this man's mind got impurified. You got it? So ज्ञान चक्षु जो है वो ऐसे ही अपने आप नहीं आता. Your thoughts when directed towards the Lord, and your thought directed towards the super reality, the super power that you call the Lord, your mind will slowly get the discriminating power, and it will slowly uh, gain. Acha, then only at the time when this great grand power with the subtle body leaves the body, till then you have this jiva bhav all the time thinking, I do, I do, I do. It is me and me. ठीक है ना? तो हर वक्त जब आप ऐसे ही सोचते हैं तो वो जो है एक्सपीरियंस आपका अकॉर्डिंग टू the gunas in your body, according to the desires in your body, according to the likes and dislikes in your body, your individuality keeps functioning, but you do not understand the light behind that individuality. You only see the outer details. The more you go into the outer details of the world, Hana, newspapers are full of them, TV is full of them, and अगर आप न्यूज़पेपर और टीवी के चिपकू हैं, you are all the time on the cell phone or all the time looking at TV or newspaper, then what will happen to your mind? Think about it. वो ज्ञान चक्षु तो बहुत दूर की चीज है. It will never open. The main thing in spirituality is the detachment of the mind. Carefully, not the body. You have to live in the world, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to dress up, you have to do all your nitya karma, and you have to do your you have to finish your prarabdha karma, you have to do your social karma, all that you have to do. But unless and until you have a necessary detachment from the details of the world around you, which are unimportant, they have got no meaning in your life, but you still go on and on with them. तो वो जो छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, they occupy and crowd your mind space. You have to empty your mind space. जैसे आप फोन में empty नहीं करते, अब फोन में space भर गई, then phone stops function. So you have to delete all the videos, photographs, nonsense that is filled in your phone. Similarly, you have to delete from your mind and keep your mind clean every day. You have to clean your mind for this Jnana Chakshu to develop. And how does it develop? Guru Dev goes back to verse 5. वो है ना, निर्माण मोहा जित संग दोषा अध्यात्म नित्य विनिवृत्त कामा. याद है या भूल गए? अभी लास्ट, आई थिंक लास्ट क्लास में करा या लास्ट टू लास्ट क्लास. That verse has all the disciplines that will help you to develop this jnana chakshu. So there is no third eye over here on the forehead, please remember. ये नहीं है कि यहाँ से माथा फटेगा और एक आंख निकल आएगी. नो, ज्ञान चक्षु is that special power, that special power that spiritual people develop, and they have an extra sensory perception. The mind has tremendous power. Really, you have to study the mind to know. Even psychologists confirm this, that the mind has tremendous potentialities, tremendous power which we do not even tap. The way to tap that power is to conserve mental energy. Unless and until you conserve mental energy, to apply it to where, to to your own perfection, to your own spiritual progress, you will never get the eye of knowledge. So, discipline and self perfection is the key to getting this ज्ञान चक्षु. ठीक है, तो you have to practice the purity of the mind, and this can success in this can only be brought about by the complete integration of the personality. Gurudev writes, well, what is integration of personality? Integration of personality is when the mind and intellect is totally pure, and the mind and intellect is totally together. Not this, that the intellect is telling you something else and your mind is telling you something else and your body is doing something other. That is a disintegrated personality. If your mind tells you that this action is wrong, if your intellect, sorry, tells you that this action is an unethical action, but your mind still wants to do it, and it dances out with your sense organs to do that thing, then that is an impure action. It is an unethical action, and it will take away from the strength of your mind. It will make your mind impure. So never go in for that kind of a thing, because it will not allow you to perfect yourself for spiritual progress. So the question for the next verse is, a few only come to ultimately experience the self. Very few, very rare people become realized, huh? While others, that is people like us, while others, even though striving, fail to have this realization. The question is why. So the next verse we will do next time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.